Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. My name is Adam Wolf. I am the Communications Manager for Navajo County. We brought you here today to discuss updates about the Cedar fire. As you may have heard, we have lifted the pre-evacuation notice for Show Low and Pinetop Lakeside. What we did not cover earlier was what is going on the White Mountain Apache Tribe, and we do have public information officers for the White Mountain Apache Tribe, Glendina Lee Gatewood and Jerome Casey.
Good afternoon. The White Mountain Apache Tribe will be lifting its pre-evacuation notice today for the following communities: Honda, McNary, and Forstdale. Cedar Creek and Carrizo will remain in pre-evacuation status due to pending rainstorms. The US 60 will remain closed. The emergency management team is working with the National Weather Service for forecasting potential flooding in those areas. So we ask our tribal members to please remain calm. A community meeting is being held tonight in Cedar Creek for the members of those communities that want to partake in the discussion of evacuation methods and preparedness issues. And that will be at 6:30 tonight at the John F. Kennedy School in Cedar Creek. And on behalf of the White Mountain Apache Tribe, we want to extend our appreciation and gratitude to John Pearson and his team for their professionalism in carrying out their duties and being mindful of the tribe's objectives under this harsh circumstances of fighting this fire. And please keep them and all the firefighters in your prayers as they continue to fight the Cedar fire and protect our communities. And if you'll allow me this courtesy, I want to address the tribal members at this time. Di Tlagaisaan de Nohi, Honda, McNary, Forstdale, Udonatli'i, di pre-evacuation notice Datldi, Be Nirojitni, Dal Konat na Sultan, Hadil, and Dalneo, Wolzeo, no Hijit Yaitio, and Ya, Aidajik, Ishi, Analzala. Ana Gariso, at Cedar Creek, no Hija, pre-evacuation no be, no Hirojila, di Kelti, Kaun Yai, Bikero, Al Goriskan be, di Bijoli, Bil Irijol to Lesla, Awa e Barano Sa, Awa, Dik Obe, no Hinilti out there, Ana di inten US 60, Biltanta. Ana di Tlagaisaan de emergency management team Biltatldi, di Yikinarazik, a National Weather Service Tatldi, to Ayel, Haul Tinley, Haul Tohralesi, Ayel Jada, Adel emergency management team, Ayel Naral Dio, Diko Bosi do Latluma. Ana di Nantan Bitaya Tribal Chairman Ronnie Lupi, no Nantan Le, di Daniel Sesi, John Pearson, Golzen Dan, Nantan Le, Daniel Sesi, which is Jidel, and Leipa, Ned Ezeki, Ko, Nohanal Sang, Lege, Daniel Sesua, A don't Zayo, but Kelserala, we also call Daniel Sesi, 900 Bitisio, Ko, La Azala, no which audio. A Tlagaisa Ande, don't Zayo, Yakeran Zerala, Le in which Kayu Lini, Sholo, Pinetop Lakeside. The Indi, ya Kedanzi, di Con or Clear, Big Eraisi, Diniti, Con Dinitesi, be a day, Jodon Zayo, Banis Tira, A, Biwa, Ba Kedanzi, a shoulder to Labik El Don, no Hidada is El, and A, Tlagaisa Ande, Erarosai, D. John Pearson, Lay Southwest Incident Management Team, a Hehe, Bestad La Saydan Hiwa, Co Dinitesi. Dauda how each aroudi lashin iti Cedar fire it ahol tohundini a hehe and a Jerome Casey no which atzi.
Good afternoon. I'd just like to reiterate on what Glendina has just stated, who is my fellow PIO for the White Mountain Apache Tribe. Starting today, we met with the Bear team, the National Weather Services, and also with the White Mountain Apache Tribal EOC. and we have started plans and will be continuing to make plans. We thought this would be over with just the fire, but no, we have another post-fire effect that's going to affect the communities. And we ask that every community member has, stay calm in this whole situation, and that we will work vigorously throughout the next few days and throughout the next few months to make sure that we have a lot of plans in place in a lot of areas where we will prepare for possible flooding. We talked with the team members earlier. They are getting their maps together to make sure that we have everything covered. A lot of that is from the Sunday fire. When Sunday's fire came through this past week, which was a turn of events for a lot of us, it pretty much, what the team members call it, is it nuked it out to where a lot of it has been cleared out by the fire. There's nothing there to hold the ground in its place, the soil in its place, and so we will be seeing a lot of that being washed out. So with that said, Cedar Creek and Carrizo community members, we will be working hard on your behalf, and we will make sure that you guys are one of our top priorities from here on out, and we will make every effort so that we know that you are there with us. We are working for you. So dikore tsitlikai si anandera no tlini hi Carrizo tlai Cedar Creek yeah no tlini hi di ani Gwendina di ko kina banai kai Bear Team National Weather Service tlai di Emergency Operations Command Center hi edawa tlai kai kina ako ege bit banal chi kina how tu chi chotli tlai le dawa hi dawa kina bunga cover azza at abi wana chi asto ko falsta hinsen le you do hara ege ni da now taro le ege how to tune to le you ege kina da sinzio le ana. And we want to thank everybody. We want to thank John Pearson and his team for the wonderful work, Adam Wolf from Navajo County, and all the other key players in all of this, the press, the media, and Mary from Navajo County. I mean, there's a lot of people to name. I don't want to get in trouble for not naming people, so I'll stop there. But I really do want to say thank you all. And we please, community members, our neighbors here, Sholo, Pinetop Lakeside, keep the White Mountain Apache Tribe in prayer, Cedar Creek and Carrizo. We need that right now, and we also need as much assistance as we possibly can from you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
So again, just to recap, the area is no longer under pre-evacuation notice. Sholo, Pinetop Lakeside, McNary, Honda, and Forestdale. Cedar Creek will switch from pre-evacuation notice for fire to flooding, and Carrizo is now under pre-evacuation notice for flooding. Next, to explain why we're able to drop the pre-evacuation notice, we'll bring up Incident Commander for the Southwest Area Interagency Incident Management Team, John Pearson.
Good afternoon, and thank you. Yesterday was kind of a turning point for us with the Cedar fire. Doing some good work over on the east side of the fire area and Division Double Z and Division Sierra, and coming around Division Quebec. That was our high priority area to focus on and get some perimeter established there so that we could move forward and looking at the pre-evacuation notices to get a complete confidence in the fire not being able to spread there. In addition to that, as most of you have seen, late yesterday afternoon we had some weather conditions that came in, which actually we had a late shower around 10 p.m. last night. We also had increased humidities, which also bolstered our confidence level in recommending the pre-evacuation notices to be lifted with the appropriate authorities, both up on the Sholo Pinetop Lakeside area, working with the sheriff, as well as down at the White Mountain Apache Tribe lands with the proper authorities down there, also with the law enforcement folks. So that's where we're at with the pre-evacuation notices. As far as the rest of the fire that's going on, our major focus is continue securing perimeters associated with the east side of the fire. Also rehabilitation work on our suppression activities, cleaning up the dozer lines, getting them to a state to where they're not going to create an additional impact on the landscape once we're finished. We'll continue to do that for the next few days here and move forward. But as of right now, we're at, as of last night, 42%, 45,900 acres approximately. We expect to increase that containment this evening once the day shift folks come off of the line. Things are looking very well. Like I said, and we have great confidence that the perimeter is in good shape. Thank you. Also, I'd like to thank the great cooperation with all of the cooperators and stakeholders, the White Mountain Apache Tribe, Fort Apache. It's been a true success in our opinions with the Southwest Area Management Team too, in building and maintaining those relationships here in the community. We've felt that to date we've met the objectives that are over my left shoulder here, and hopefully we'll continue that through our stay here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. We really can't express enough gratitude for you and your team. What you've been able to come in and do has been amazing. For a local perspective now, we will bring up Show Mayor Darrell Seymour.
Thank you, Adam. I'm grateful to be here today in these favorable situations the news that we've received. I'm not going to reiterate the evacuations, but I just want to give thanks on behalf of the Show City Council to our citizens, to our firefighters and our safety officials for the work that they did and for the efforts that they made in making this a success of being able to extinguish most of this fire. I want to thank our senators, John McCain and Jeff Flake, as well as Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick for their willingness to reach out to us immediately when we asked for help. Several phone calls went back and forth, and we're grateful for the opportunity we had and the support we had from them, as well as our Governor Doug Ducey for declaring a state of emergency for our area here in Navajo County and the people that were able to work and make that happen. We especially reach out to Hunter Moore, who's from this area, and helped us make that possible. We're grateful for the White Mountain Apache Tribe for the efforts that they did in relationship with us and making this happen. Tribal Chairman Lupi and for his staff and the people that worked diligently with us. You know, I have to say that we're grateful for our neighbors to the north who opened up evacuation centers, both Snowflake and Holbrook, for the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and the Humane Society, for those people who accepted the people who left because of health reasons or some other reason that they needed to be evacuated. When you go through a fire like this, you can't help but form friendships and relations that you'll be able to remember for years going forward. And the things that we're able to do and work together has been many people that I've got to know and formed relationships with. You know, I also want to thank you guys, the press. You know, sometimes you guys don't get the thanks that you deserve, but thank you for covering this and doing the things that you did to get the word out and to try to keep our citizens, you know, peaceful and the information to that, as well as the volunteers who worked on the 311 messages. You know, the thing that when you assess a little bit, there's things that we learned and there's things that we can do better and we'll improve upon as we go forward. And I think that's one of the great things of learning and becoming better so that our fires can be suppressed better. We need to also be grateful for the thinning projects that have happened and going forward, whatever we can do to continue to harvest. When you look at the Wallow fire, the Rodeo Chetaskai fire, now this fire, we can't put a dollar amount on it, but it would be in the billions of dollars of the economic loss that has happened because we were not able to harvest those trees rather than we burned them. And so maybe we can look forward to that we can change that. And we just encourage people as you come up into our mountains and enjoy the beauty and the rivers and the streams that we have, the beauty of the White Mountain, you have to protect it. Anytime there's something that's beautiful, you have to protect it. And hopefully you'll pledge with you as you come into our area, just like we do when we go to your area, we respect it. And put the campfires out. Do what you can to be safe when you're here. We're thankful for the businesses and individuals that offered assistance, banks, different businesses. You know, my phone calls were made to me that they're willing to help and offer whatever they can. And I think it's just great when we have a community like that comes together. I want to thank the Incident One, John Pearson, and Sam, Steve, Craig, and their great diligent work that they have at keeping us informed. I also want to thank Mary Springer. A lot of people don't realize, but Mary's job was very long hours and long nights of keeping everybody informed and the great things they did. And I also want to tell the Show Low School District, thank you for letting us use your school, for being able to make this the command center and things going forward. May we continue to be a great community. May we realize that we have a few scars from this fire, but it's nothing that will keep us down. We'll polish it up, we'll make it look good, and may we reach our hand out to those people in Cedar Creek if they get into flooding situations. May we be there to help them as they've helped us. Thank you, and may we continue to love this area.
Thank you, Mayor Seymour. The other community greatly impacted by today's announcements was Pinetop Lakeside, and we have Pinetop Lakeside Mayor Greg Smith.
Thank you, Adam. On behalf of the town of Pinetop Lakeside and members of our town council, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to all the members of Incident Management Team 2. We realize that your team and most of the crews on this fire left their homes and their families to help protect us and our community. We pray for your continued safety through this incident, and may God bless you all in your safe travels home. To all of you who stayed away from the White Mountains because of this fire, we just want you to know that the communities of Show Low, Pinetop Lakeside, Honda Sunrise are more beautiful than ever. We welcome you back with open arms, and that's from our communities, our businesses, and all of us. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. Normally we would turn to a public safety official at this time, but Sheriff Casey Clark was not able to make it. He did have a prior engagement, but he just wanted to reiterate that we are extremely thankful for the Type 1 team, the work that they did when they came in, and today is a happy day that we get to drop the pre-evacuation notices. It was a decision officially made by the Navajo County Sheriff's Office in conjunction with Show Low and Pinetop Lakeside Police Departments, and we have the utmost confidence that the fire crews will be able to continue to fortify these lines. Before we get into questions, just a couple things I do want to cover. Mayor Seymour touched on it a little bit. Please be respectful and responsible when you come to these areas. We live in the trees because we love this area. 9 out of 10 forest fires can be prevented. As we move forward, social responsibility does need to come to the forefront. We need to do more to be aware, to be prepared, to avoid situations like this. If we can do that, maybe we can avoid a Rodeo Chetasky fire, a Wallow fire, or a Cedar fire. Our communities deserve to not have to be evacuated or under threat of evacuation every 5 to 10 years. We can do more, and we hope you will get on board with wanting to do more. Again, we cannot show enough appreciation for all the fire crews, the Type 1 team that came in, and especially our local crews who on that first night when this fire was really charging, got to that fire line and were able to stop it, and that line has relatively held since then. Without their quick action, we don't know where we'd be. We don't want to think about that. We're just very thankful that they were here. We're very thankful for all the help we received from state legislators, local officials, and of course the Type 1 team. We really just cannot thank you enough. At this time, we will open it up for questions. Karen.
Is there a estimate of when you expect full containment and when the Type 1 team will be phasing out?
For that, we'll bring back John Pearson.
You know, in regards to full containment, we're estimating that to be somewhere around July 6th. You know, part of that is is tied to the western perimeter of the fire. It's essentially backed off into some country that's got a different fuel change from ponderosa pine into pinon juniper. But on that side of the fire, there's lots of rough, rugged country. Access to that fire perimeter is limited at best. So, you know, I've spoken about probability of success, exposure to firefighters, and working with the hosting units, and we agreed that, you know, that fire will be able to back off of there, and it'll probably extinguish itself. And that's, you know, looking at the weather and those types of conditions, you know, the best estimate that we have with that would be around July 6th.
Well, when will you be stepping down from command?
You know, we're in negotiations with that right now based on, you know, some factors do apply to that. You know, we still have line to be constructed out there. We have mop-up securing the perimeter. In addition, we have rehabilitation of our suppression actions such as dozer lines and hand lines and, you know, chipping the brush or the thinning slash that we've created in the efforts of the suppression activities. So, you know, I'm looking at probably 3 to 4 days, if that makes sense. Let's see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Looking at that time frame. However, that could change based on if we got a significant amount of rain, or, you know, lots of things can occur in changing that glide path for our organization.
Well, you will be missed. Will you turn it over to, who will you turn it over to, or will it be totally done?
No, we'll turn it to a lower level organization, and there'll still be work for them to do as it pertains to rehabilitation, keeping an eye on the perimeter, that type of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that you found about the cause, or is it still under investigation?
That is still under investigation by the Florida Apache Agency.
With the flooding conditions coming, is there any concern about Highway 73 and 60 being washed over by the floods because they are both close and downhill from the burn area?
Do you have information on that?
Is there any concern over flooding issues washing over Highway 73 and 60 because they're downhill from the burn area?
So I'll address that with the burned area emergency rehab team is here, and they're conducting assessments and determining the flows and what could be the potential for the impacts associated with those high severity burn areas. So, you know, I'm not going to speculate that there's going to, you know, some prediction or something like that. You know, so when they get that information gathered and identify those critical areas that may be impacted, they would be the appropriate organization to ask that. You know, our job with the incident management team is, you know, that suppression activity, and I don't want to speak on behalf of that group.
Okay.
Is the evacuation center still up? And you had said in the email about 311 being shut down, is that still on?
Yes, so by the end of the day, the shelters will be closed and 311 will go back to normal operating procedures, which are leaving recordings to let you know what's going on.
What about those in Carrizo and Cedar Creek who might have to be evacuated due to floods? Is there going to be anything set up for them?
We are currently in the planning process for setting up areas where they could potentially go, but we definitely will not just leave them hanging out to dry.
With Carrizo and Cedar Creek still on a pre-evacuation notice, is there still a location for them to go? Given the fact that they're still on a pre-evacuation notice, is there still an evacuation center for them to get to?
Yeah, we're going to bring up Gwendina Lee Gatewood to address that.
So the question is, for the folks down in Cedar Creek and in Carrizo, they're obviously still on a pre-evacuation notice. That hasn't been lifted for them yet. is there a location set aside for them, a place for them to go if there is an evacuation or if they would like to evacuate now?
Our White Mountain Apache Tribe Emergency Management Team is currently discussing those options as we speak. They're meeting with the Bear team and discussing the severity of potential rains. And our emergency management team activates that evacuation system under direction of our emergency manager. So typically, we have a location that we normally go to until that's confirmed. I can't state that, but our team, the emergency management team, along with the Bear representatives, are discussing that as we speak. And then when we get that evacuation location done, we will disperse that out to the public. Typically, the location that we normally have for that area is Sibique High School, but we have not confirmed that for the flooding portion of this incident, because we had it for fire, which was in Snowflake and Holbrook, but for the flooding portion, which is after the fire, that's going to be still in discussion at this time.
Can you talk about why Cedar Creek and Carrizo are still on a pre-evacuation notice?
At our meeting this morning with the officials, the Type 1 Incident Management Team, I don't know if the map is on this presentation here, but they look at the map and they tell us why the areas are still on pre-evacuation notice. And it has a lot to do with how the area is burned and how, when it rains, where the floodplains are and how the water is going to travel towards those areas. Obviously, it's going to go south. And for Carrizo, it's a different river stream. And then Carrizo is, Cedar Creek, is a direct south direction of the waters that are just going to go south. And you have to keep in mind that there's areas that are burned. There's no more roots that are holding certain brushes, together there. So when you get the rain, you get an enormous amount of sediments that are floating downward. And it's going to go at a fast pace because there's nothing there to hold the water anymore because it's been burned. And they've identified that to us on the maps that they've been giving out daily and told us be aware of floods now, which is normal in any fire situation because those areas have been burned. And then the floods, when the waters come, it's just going to go south. And then unfortunately, the communities are right in that area. And during the rodeo Chetaskai, Carrizo was along in that flood area too on a watch. So
is the primary reason that they're still on pre-evacuation notice because of the flooding potential?
Yes, because of the flooding potential. The rains that are going to come, we live in the White Mountains and we all know that we have monsoons. They're coming and the rains are going to come, and because the areas are burned, then the water's going to flow in that direction. So they are on pre-evacuation notice for that purpose.
And if you'd like more information after the press conference, we'll be able to show you exactly where on the map those burn areas are.
Are you going to continue to provide email updates to the media until the fire is fully contained?
Yes, we will keep everyone informed until that is out. And just to build off that a little bit, the fire is still active. We are asking the community to please still stay vigilant, still stay aware of what's going on. The pre-evacuations have been dropped, but again, still wildfire, still very close to our community. Please do stay vigilant. And thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming.